After the longest summer break in MotoGP history, we are back. 4 riders, 22 points, all with the one goal to become MotoGP World Champion. So you join me here now from Momelo, Catalonia and Barcelona, one of the best circuits in the world for me. Absolutely adore this racetrack. It's the kind of Catalan Grand Prix, one of the most famous of the season of all time really for the Grand Prix paddock. And we started off this race weekend with a worrying lack of speed, feeling, direction with the bike. I spent so much of Friday's practice just going through the motions and just finding nothing. Couldn't stop the bike, had no grip, couldn't get it to turn. At the end of the session, we put on a fresh soft and we pulled out a belting lap to go a second quicker than anyone, which put us through directly to Q2, which was a bit of a surprise because, like I said, I wasn't having ease and the bike wasn't working, but we just got a lap in, it felt good. From that point on, it's hard to believe maybe this weekend would be a bit better because I was actually worrying that this could be the race weekend that puts me out of the championship fight. So in qualifying, once again, pretty decent lap. Temperatures a little bit hotter on Saturday, and it didn't mean we went as fast, but we did go front row, second overall behind Jorge Martin, one of our championship rivals. So overall, have to be pretty satisfied to be near the front of the grid for the sprint and the main race. Now, very cloudy for the sprint, terrible start once again. We actually get nudged from someone behind, I don't know who it is, but actually just kind of balks a couple of people behind me. We end up dropping as far as 6th, 7th almost. A little head shake there as we get very annoyed by our lack of speed so far this season off the grid. Really, we just cannot get the bike going. Bit of a lunge into turn one, can't lie, let the brake off, a bit of frustration, a head shake after 2 or 3 gear changes, and we just went backwards and then lunged a couple of Grassinis and a little bit of contact between me and Mark. And to be honest, I'm kind of sick of these sprints not going my way and getting beaten up, having poor race pace, not having the feeling. We have a look into 5 on 4 actually on Mark, and I was thinking to myself, right, I'm gonna have to get past this guy. So we go for a bit of an audacious one up the inside, a tiny bit of contact. We were running really out to the edge of the track, potentially our teammate in 2027, that guy, and we just nearly ran him off the track. But in fairness, we got the move done, and now it's just the factory Aprilia Gio in front. Now, of course, in the sprint we have gone with the soft tyres. In the main race we will not be able to run them as just this track eats tyres for breakfast, really shreds them. And even at this point, after very good Friday practice in the end, after everything we learned, some good bike setup changes that made the bike a lot better, I still wasn't thinking I could actually really win this sprint. And we jumped out to lap 4. To be honest, we're just kind of sitting on them. The sprint, you don't have that much time to really plan a longer race. You kind of have to just react and go with them. But I knew there was a couple of points on track I was stronger, but they're so close together, it's actually quite hard to get the move done, because I know you felt like if I tried to pass Martin, who was going in front, I know he would probably tag the back of Digi. We had a good run out last corner, just get slightly balked on exit, and that pretty runs away. We just tuck back in to the slipstream, and that allows me to have a little look into turn 1. We have a little bit of a release of the brake. Unfortunately, we've just gone very, very deep, straight on, in fact, and we actually end up on the green paint. We just try and rejoin the track as safely as possible, and we leave the space for the two of them to come through. Unfortunately, it looks like Martin just kind of gets held up behind his teammate, and we end up kind of tucking back into P2, even though I was trying to actually leave the other Aprilia to result, because I had gained the advantage by running off track, but he kind of didn't really take it, so I couldn't really leave him there for too long, because Mark is still sitting there in P4, and he is going to be hopefully a threat in the main race. And I feel like that I'm probably owed a bit of payback for my move on the opening lap. So now we come to the start of the last lap, lap 6 in this one. Great slipstream on Digi, who's going to have to do the same thing into turn 1. 210, 215, 216 miles an hour as we get on the brakes. We brake a little bit early, and then we just release the brake, try to set up the inside. Again, a little bit deep, that can be squared off. He tries to go and get a bit of a switch back on me, but we just have the inside for turn 2, which allows us now a clean bit of track for this final lap. We just need one good clean lap, and we've won our first sprint of the season, which is outrageous to think really that we're coming to near the end of the season and we still haven't managed to put ourselves on top of the box in the sprint race. So last sector here now, we're actually doing okay. We pulled us just enough a gap that I can kind of be a bit more cautious in these last couple of corners, as it's really hard, as we know, to pass in the last sector of Catalonia unless you are Valentino or Toprak basically. And into the final corner, we actually get a little bit wrong, go touch wide, and get a much later apex, but thankfully we managed to get the win. Victory in the sprint, a real good start to this weekend. So Jorge Martin, Digi Antonio Ronaldo at the podium, 2 Aprilia Mark in 4th, Pecco down in P6, the championship leader, so we gain points back on him. So overall, obviously, won the race, gain points on everyone, and that is a good jump. So we go from 22 points behind to now 14 behind, and the top 3 separated by 5 points. It's going to be a real interesting race. So here we are now for Sunday's main Grand Prix, and I was confident coming in. Usually the main races go better than the sprint on Saturday. We won the sprint, so how can we go any better than that? Start didn't go any better. We are out of the top 10 here, I'd say. But we go really aggressive down the white line. Turn 1 at Catalunya has always been a bit of a horrible choke point. We end up on the curb, but we go really brave around the outside of a couple of riders in turn 2, which gives us a lovely little line into turn 3. So we're just trying now, once again, to get back to the front of the grid, just to get up the grid and get with the front of the pack, really, to see if we can battle away. But we have a nice longer race now, 12 laps here, much more time to plan overtake. I don't need to lunge people immediately like I did very aggressively in the sprint. So straight away now we're behind. I believe this is Pecco in front, and it's interesting to see Pecco having a bit of a stronger season here in 26 versus 2025 against Mark. He's currently beating him in the championship. We'll see how that plays out after this round of the championship. So at the moment, I feel like we just rolled up to the back of Pecco, and we actually pull off probably one of the overtakes this season. Just roll the bike into a little pocket of space he left between Aldeguer. Get a great run off the corner. Give a look at Aldeguer. He just squeezed the brake just enough, and even watching back, I don't know how there wasn't contact between my front wheel and his rear wheel. So we managed to stay behind him, thankfully, without contact. And yeah, we're looking really racy again around the outside. Probably a bit of a hard corner to get done, but we have the track position. But he just slides up the inside once again, does Aldeguer. Forced me right on the green. We have a look back, we tip in. Of course, Aldeguer's there again, so that means we get a terrible run. And we end up getting up onto the curb slightly. And you'll see here now in a second, a factory Ducati just appears on the right side of me, absolutely flies up alongside me. Kind of boxes me in with the grass. We brake super deep, probably just late all season, so we broke into that corner. And unfortunately, Pecco goes for a very strange move, ends up on the curb, and once again 2 races in a row we've ended up out in the green paint at turn 2. At this point in the race, I didn't know if that was my fault, because from the onboard point of view, from my perspective, you don't see Pecco till it's literally I have my knee down, so it was a real worry. So we jumped to lap 2, very much a controversial opening lap. We pull off another brilliant move on Alex Marquez into the turn. Then we go very wide, but this corner you can't really turn the bike, so we managed to just get back to the apex before he could. So again, now P3, so a brilliant start to this race, and to be honest, we kind of flew up to the back of these guys. We have so much pace for some reason. I just don't understand how this weekend we started off so bad, so poor, and making matters worse for Mark. He's after getting himself a long lap. Pecco has crashed, and Martin and Digia are going at it, hammer and tongs for the lead here, and we end up almost going into the back. You can see massive head shake there. I'm massively frustrated by the battling of the pretty whites. They're just so aggressive on each other. We're at half race distance now, and I didn't really think what the ramifications this race was having as it played out on the screen for me. You see there Jorge Martin, he's running a soft front, kept doing that all the race. I was kind of waiting for him to crash really, because so many times did he go out wide and just run out to the edge of the track. I was like, he's going to crash is what I was thinking every time, because the soft front will just massively overheat. So I was kind of biding my time. I could probably pass these guys at any point, but I was thinking there's no point really pushing on a pace that I don't need to run. I don't need to crash myself, so I'll basically sit on the back of these, jumping out to the following lap. And again, look at these guys, look at the gap he's gone for. He's gone really aggressive and just releases the brake at the last second. You can see I'm kind of watching, so I'm nowhere near them, and again just roll through turn 2, not really trying to push because I know they're going to balk each other. And Jorge Martin is now back into the lead of the race, and that probably would give him the lead of the championship as well, considering what's happened to both factory Dukes. Obviously I'm here too, but he's about 9 points currently ahead of me, so he's definitely going to have a good chance of it. But again, look how wide he's gone there. Another warning for Marc Marquez. He's having a rough Sundays here in Barcelona, which is a bit of a stranger and doesn't particularly like this track, but he's having a real rough one considering. So 3/4 race is now in. We're sitting pretty. We've gone with the medium tyres, which is the key. A lot of my competitors went with the soft, and that's really hampering their pace. Soft front, rear, and it's really killing them completely. Lap 8 again, you can see I feel like I'm just kind of rolling around now at a real kind of kilter. We kind of go over to the outside. Martin releases the brake, and it's Di Gianantonio. Of the two Aprilias, Di Gianantonio is the one that crashes in the infamous turn 4. It's a real strange one. I couldn't get my head around that because he looked so much stronger, and it looked like that Martin, the guy in front, was hanging on by his fingertips and kind of pulling rough moves to kind of keep us up there. And it's Digi who's cracked under pressure, puts up to P2, we blast past Jorge Martin into turn 1. One of our favourite moves. Getting a touch deep, but we do manage to get the position. So now into the lead, and I put my head down for a lap. I was thinking Joe out would break the spirit of Jorge Martin. But then I thought to myself, Iagoras was coming close. So John, I said, let's have some fun. I actually leave Jorge Martin through because Iagora, you'll see here in a spec, and I look behind, he's just there on the VR46 Ducati. And I'm in a title hunt. I need as many points taken off Martin as possible. So I'm hoping, because our pace is very strong, I believe I can beat Iagora if he catches us. But I think Martin could suffer in the battle with me and maybe end up only P3. So I'm thinking to myself, I could win. That would be 9 points taken off, 25 for 16. That would bring me level with him. And then we obviously know Pecco's after crashing and Mark is having an absolute mare. So that would be brilliant for my championship run. So we're battling stupidly really in this race. I'm kind of playing with him a bit like Sepang 15, I suppose you could say, where there's a lot of moves being put on each other. Not always for the greater good of the race. You can see there's contact. And you'll see in a second, he's not very happy with me. He does have a look back at me in a few corners time. Again, we park it here on the apex of 4. He goes for his, again, wide line by choice. I'm not too sure. But into turn 5, we actually do make a small mistake in here. We just get it a little bit wrong, go in a bit hot. And once again, Jorge Martin does retake the lead. But you'll see now, I do believe he has a little look at me here in a couple of corners time. And you can just tell by the body language, he's not happy with my antics that I've been playing this race. Because at this point now, we know for a fact that Iagora is definitely catching up because we're not doing fast race pace. He's still just there. I thought he'd be a bit closer, to be honest. I was kind of hoping that with us messing around, that would give us a bit more of a advantage for Iagora to kind of catch up. But we have another look into 10. Bit of a wobble on the brakes. I need to be careful though because I could throw away this race very easily. It's not. See, there it is. I knew he was going to do it. You could just see he was very frustrated by the way he looked back at me. And unfortunately, Igor just doesn't look to have the pace now that he's caught the group, or caught up roughly to the group. You know, seems to be struggling and sitting in comfortable P3. So I was thinking to myself, do I just go for the pass again? Do I go for the lead? Do I try and force a mistake on Martin? We're kind of getting to the end of this race, and I was trying to think to myself, let's not be too clever, let's not be too cute. And I keep looking to see what Igor is, because I keep thinking to myself, right, we're now on, is it, I think, lap 11, so we don't have much time left. Again, we blitz past him, but we brake early. We just want to show him that we're there, keep him under pressure. And yeah, I was thinking this man's race this one because I knew I had the speed, so I wanted to make sure that I put as much pressure. Again, we go for a real ridiculous around the outside one. At this point, I'd say he's hard front, soft rears. There's a bit of contact in the middle of 3, and I was thinking to myself, he's surely going to be dropping back slowly now in this lap. And as we cut down to cinematic, you can probably guess what's about to happen. He goes wide for the final time. And just like his teammate, he has thrown away. I was not surprised when I saw that, just because he was on a soft front tyre. His teammate was on a hard front tyre, but that Aprilia clearly having some issues in the very difficult turn 4. But into the final corner we come now. We kind of got our wish in a way. We end up getting a mistake from Martin. I didn't want him to crash, but at least I didn't cause it. He was going to do that of his own accord. And we do our first double of the season. A bit of a shame, really. We didn't get pole position, really. It would have been a lovely full weekend. Martin managed to remount to get to P5. That's how far in front we were. Mark is down in P12. Bagnai just didn't score anything. So, yeah, we've managed to go from 22 points behind at the start of this race to 5 points in lead of Martin, 11 ahead of Pecco and 10 ahead of Marcus. So I was really, really chuffed with this race weekend. I didn't feel all season long we ever had a race weekend like this in us where I could really win at ease. I felt like Brno could have won, but there was so much of that track that I was just weak, whereas I felt like there was nowhere on this track that my competitors could really steal a march on me. I was really feeling like I was very good everywhere. We jump now to after the race weekend. We were meeting up with Ducati manager, and he wants us to sign for Gresini. After what we just done to his factory boys, maybe we tell him we want to proceed this team. We leave this meeting very unhappy. So now season 2 has been blown into massive distribution because we don't know where we're going to sign for. We know we're not going to be on this KTM, but we don't know where we're going to be. Anyway, guys, it's been a great episode. I hope you have enjoyed. Apologies for the massive summer break, but we are back, and we shall see you in a future episode. Slán go full buckley.